Should I post this on Facebook or? Oh, there's Grandpa Bill. All right.
Yes. All right.
You did good. My
Shit.
God, people are
Whoops.
still making it in.
All right. Cool, guys. Great seeing you guys. Sorry, we had some difficulties. Zoom link difficulties. Be right there, just making sure everything else is working. I got to update that link then. Guys, sorry. We had some difficulties. Zoom link difficulties. There we go. There we go. Okay. Okay. You ready to start, Seth?
Yeah, I'm gonna send
Okay.
this. Go ahead. You can do the intro, and I'll
I
kick it
gotcha.
in.
Okay. All right, guys. So my apologies, everyone. So as a couple of weeks ago, I mentioned that my Zoom Enterprise plan was splitting off, and I had to renew my Zoom Pro subscription. And between all the other mess going on with the enable waiting room and all that stuff, it actually changed the Zoom link. So, anyways, I'm going to update that Zoom link in the next email. So be on the lookout in that email for the latest link and get rid of the old link that you might have. So appreciate you guys. Thank you for joining, guys. So if you are new here, we hold these coherence meditations every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. We do have our main YouTube channel over right there. I'm glad that I caught many of you to come over here to the Zoom link on that YouTube channel. So I see we still have some people over there. So feel free, if you are over in YouTube land or Facebook, to hop on Zoom where we host our live Zoom here. If you want to stay over there, you just have a delay. That's cool. Meanwhile, on YouTube, we do have all of our previous recordings for the past 18 plus months now. So do check out those as well. We do restream over there to YouTube and Facebook, as you already should know. Let's see, our live Zoom link, which I will update next week, is over here on the left. Click that QR code. And while you're over there in YouTube or Facebook, please do like that, share it around to friends and family who you think can benefit from this. And we do encourage everyone to do this as daily practice. Take a little time out each day. Last week we had the power of meow. I love saying that. And then the
We'll
title
do it
for this
again
week.
too.
That's great. Yeah, and then this week we have the title, opening our heart and loving ourselves no matter how difficult life can be. And if you do have a particular topic in mind, please do comment below this video or reach out to Seth on Facebook and we will add it to the queue. There's literally a limitless number of topics that we can go into. So, speaking of which, then, really quick, I will post something that I am going to play on my speaker pucks. And the hot topic, I guess, for the past week or so has been the EE system. And Seth actually has a limited number of spots available that he's going to be doing an in-person EE system coherence meditation. He'll give you details. I forgot the date. I think it's in a couple weeks.
No, Saturday actually.
Saturday. Okay. So the EE system it's quite extraordinary, I guess. I was going to say I'll send everybody out a link, but if you are on our Signal group or Telegram, I sent it on Signal, but Seth can send that on Telegram. But it's a pretty cool system. I'm going to send a YouTube link. Feel free to click on that link and you can play that in the background, see if that does anything for you. That's 528 hertz relaxing music from an EE system transmission. I'd be interested to know whether or not it actually works for some of other people out there. I know it's a little bit different than actually having a live in-person EE system, but let's play around with it. See how you guys like it. So there was also an email that was sent just a couple hours ago. Don't know if anybody has had a chance to read that, but there were some things actually spawned from that email that you kind of reminded me about, Seth. And I kind of wrote like a little summary of that, and actually to feed into especially some newcomers here to provide a little bit more information on like what exactly we do here, because we've been doing this for a while too. And
Yeah.
I'd like to just provide like some key points based upon that email and some of our stuff for the past year and a half, then 18 months, I should say. So hopefully I don't come out too scripted here. I did write this down, so ignore that, but it's the content that really matters. So
Yeah.
I'd like to summarize some key points from the email shared ahead of this event. We do owe some gratitude to, or great gratitude to, pioneers like the Heart Math Institute and Dr. Joe Dispenza for scientifically validating what ancient wisdom has always known. Heart coherence is a foundational meditation practice. Unlike some mindfulness meditations that don't always incorporate the heart coherence is the key to building a solid practice, and more teachers are beginning to embrace this approach. Now, for the past 18 months, we've been practicing, especially this. By the way, the Heart Math Institute, there is a study that was done. I think we sent out that link earlier on during our sessions that we had 18 months ago. If you want that again, just reach out to Seth. He'll send that again. So we've been practicing the heart and brain coherence meditations together. This work not only benefits us individually, but also contributes to global transformation. By maintaining these elevated states of internal coherence, we help turn the chaos of the world into a more harmonious state, leading to healthier lives and a healthier planet. Many of us have experienced trauma, anxiety, depression. I mean, as I said, the topics are basically countless. It goes on and on. But all these things have disconnected us from our true selves. So, doing a lot of this, we're essentially deprogramming ourselves and going back to the basics, going back to the root, going back to the foundation. So, through this practice, by choosing to open our hearts and cultivate love from within, we can return to wholeness and live with greater passion and purpose. So, with that said, I'm going to pass it right over to Seth. Thank you so much, Seth, for us and everybody collectively as a community that we build out here do these weekly coherence meditations, and free of charge, guys. So please come on over. We're trying to get that millionth monkey now.
Beautifully said. Yeah. And my gosh, everything you shared, it just brought up this flurry of things that I would love to share with everybody. But for the sake of time, I'll just do a little bit of commentary on it and we'll get into the meditation. And I want to tell people in advance that I just found out that my uncle, who's one of my favorite relatives, probably my most favorite relative, died today. And as soon as I found out, tears were just pouring down my face, and I haven't allowed myself to start to grieve it yet because I've been so busy and I'm doing so many things. So after this meditation, I'm going to do that. And it's one of these things where it's like we have so many people in our lives that we love and that we care about. And I'm not asking anybody to feel pity or sorrow for me. I mean, it's okay if you feel that naturally, but I want to devote this meditation tonight to him, to my other family that is, his kids and his wife. I love all of them so much, and I really appreciate that. But I do want to mention a couple things that Greg said, because the EE system is something that I never planned on getting involved with. I didn't search it out. I didn't look for it. it was something that just happened because for those who know, I have a spring water company in the state of Maine, and we prevented Nestle from getting the spring and ruining it forever. And it's mostly all sold in New England and Maine. And people are telling me that there's these people who own a spa near me that are charging the water in this EE system. And they're like, you gotta go, you gotta go. And I went, and Tam, the lady who owns the place, she didn't even know that we do these meditations. And when I walked in there, we both just knew, we were like, okay, we're going to do this. This is exactly how it's going to be. And it's funny because my mind just started going through all these different, I had my own kind of constriction or my own resistance to it, while at the same time feeling it and being like, oh my God, this is amazing. And my resistance to it is, and this is part of what Greg was saying, heart and brain coherence is simply the beginning. And when we get in tune with our life force, this energy, this impossible to describe, beyond genius, intelligence, miracle of life that is causing everybody's heart to beat, our entire sense of self is literally only here because of that. But we grow up and we live in a world where nobody really teaches us that. And most of our ancestors and our family, and even the ones alive now, they don't know this. Deep down, they do. Deep down in everybody, there's an innate knowing. But most don't know this. And so we are all really blessed in the sense that now, more than ever, with everything happening in the world, we are all having this profound opportunity to get back in tune with this miracle of life that causes the heart to beat, that allows us to exist at all. And even in our limitations, we all are so connected to this life force energy, even if we don't think we are. Even the words that we speak, the language, it's almost like that keeps us from realizing and recognizing what we all truly are. Because the reality is that we're not separate from this miracle. This miracle of life is closer to us than our own heartbeat. And the more that we as individuals start to get in tune with that, we find that it isn't just heart and brain coherence. There is brain coherence where you're so in tune with your life force that your brain begins to form all these patterned brain waves that are really profound, in the sense that they are syncopated with the degree of awareness that you have for your own life force, for your own life in this world. And when the heart gets into coherence, when all this life force, this miracle of life, this energy that it isn't in us, it is us, it is animating us, it's causing the heart to beat, it's causing the brain to have all these different feelings and knowings and perception of self and reality. And the more we attune ourselves to what is already there, the more the brain starts to organize itself in all these coherent patterns, the more the heart starts to do it. And from there, the opportunity for every organ and gland and fluid in our body starts to become so organized, so powerful. And here's the thing, to just give an idea of what I'm referencing, when you look at crystals, or if you look at the idea of the tree of life, any living being, whether, no matter what it's made from, if you were to zero in on it enough, you would see that all of us and everything. This life force is there because there is patterns. There's this intricate structure of reality that allows this life force to interact with our being. And it's almost like a battery. And there's energy there. There's energy in our body, even if we're not aware of it. But when we start to become aware of it, the body becomes charged with the energy that's already there. And as we become aware of it, we have the opportunity to amplify this energy that is there. And this is where it begins to go to a whole new level, because if we're not conscious of what we are, there's just a limited amount of energy in and around our being. Most people are born and they die not ever having even known that energy intimately. And so that energy doesn't have an opportunity to expand or grow beyond its already innate programming or functioning. And when we become aware of it, we literally are gifted the opportunity to amplify it, to allow these bodies to suddenly have access to un unknowable amounts of power, of energy that can only be known by our relationship to it. And so this is happening. And I'm going to tie this into the EE system because it's so obvious to anybody paying attention that look at our world. Look at what happened in the past 100 years. I mean, who knows how long these bodies have adapted to a non-technological world. You know, our bodies have adapted to the external reality over time, and it's used to it. But now, out of nowhere, because of the Industrial Revolution, which isn't really a revolution, it is, but it's so destructive that it's not sustainable. And we all know that. But the crazy thing about it is the amount of not just EMFs, but there's radio waves, satellite waves, there's electromagnetic frequencies of all different spectrums throughout the cars we drive. The food we eat is all made with it. I mean, it is everywhere. And it seemingly came out of nowhere. And these bodies haven't had the opportunity to adapt to it for as quickly as it has come and become a part of our lives. And this is where the opportunity is, because if we keep going the way that everybody in our ancestry has gone, if we just keep living, and we're going to run these bodies into the ground just like sorry, as I'm saying this, I'm feeling a lot and it's coming up. When I went into this room with the EE system, which I encourage everybody to look up and check out, my resistance to it was like, well, we can achieve these amplified states of being that are organic, that come from within us, that we choose to activate. But I just had this feeling like, oh my God, okay, all the machines that are creating discordant or artificial energy that isn't even coherent. I mean, they're just technology is just trying to send a signal from one thing to another, and it's running on very low levels of incoherent artificial energy. But if all that stuff's happening, it just made perfect sense that there are equipment, there are devices that are made by our hands that actually can help us adapt, just like all of the artificial electromagnetic frequencies from all these machines can be tough for our body to adapt to. there are machines like this EE system that will support us. And it's almost like they create a deflection of all that because the organic life force of these bodies is so powerful. But if we don't know that and if we're not focused on it, then it just diminishes and we become victims in a way, in the sense that we don't even know how much of our energy is getting sucked out of us. And until we learn that, till we get in tune with it, then we don't ever have to worry about any of that, because the source from where each of us comes from is so incomprehensibly powerful that all of the artificial stuff happening here, which is everywhere on this world, it's like this big. All that stuff is nothing. So let's integrate into meditation with all of that.
I was just sorry I
Go
didn't
ahead. No,
interrupt
say
really
it.
quick. I was
Please.
literally just thinking probably a good way to maybe explain that. And I'm just thinking about the EE system is noise cancellation headphones like Bose headphones and
Mhm.
everything. So the
Yeah.
EE system is kind of from my research, the past year and a half or so, it's kind of like it's canceling out, some of those other frequencies, but
Yeah.
then getting your body in attune with the proper frequencies, right? Is that the way that you experience it when you went in
That,
there?
so yeah, there's no doubt about it. Everybody that I've seen walk out of that room, huge smiles on their face, they're glowing. It's amazing. But when we know that we have access to this miracle of life that is there and within us, it's almost like, yeah, that technology cancels out all of the other stuff that our body's struggling to adapt with. Like we're anxiety and stress, and there's this biochemical frequency response to the toxicity of the world around us that our body's always trying to adapt to or compete with. And when you're in a state of total coherence from the inside out, that'll all be deflected anyway. But getting to that point, especially when you're in the presence of a machine like this, it deflects it and you have the safe space within you, and your body has that break. It can just relax and it can chill out. And when we get into these states of coherence, which again, like I was saying, it's not just the brain and the heart, it is every part of our being that has the ability to get so profoundly in harmony with this life force that we are. And when we do that, we remember, we know why we came here. We have the direct experience of how powerful this energy is, and everything that ever held us back before dissipates and it goes away. And so the part of you that was in resistance or that was afraid or stuck, that part of you dies, it goes away. And what you become is probably what the next level of our species has the potential to be. And you know what? If it wasn't for all the madness in the world, if it wasn't for all the artificial technology, who knows when we would have the opportunity to literally make a quantum leap in our own evolutionary awareness. And that's what's happening in the world. The insanity of it, everything happening, it's so distracting and it can be so stressful. But when we look at it as an opportunity, literally, to take a quantum leap in our own evolutionary process as this life force animating these beings and having its own journey, this energy has a journey that goes way beyond everything that happens in these lives. And when we get in tune with it here in this life, we begin to experience just how much this soul has journeyed and how incarnating here and being in these bodies offers us a possibility and an opportunity to not only adapt and move beyond everything in our past, but it allows us to be like tuning forks. But we don't need mechanical stress to cause it, to make a tone. We are that. And when we get in tune with that, all of our ancestors, all of our lineage from behind us, who are also all made out of this, but it's discoherent. It's not in a state of coherent energy. But when we are, all of that corrects itself and we become conscious of it in these bodies. And I mean, I think you guys understand what we're getting at here. So let's keep this going, but let's get really calm. And so just relax your body. It's so easy to understand that this life force, our nervous system, this life force is tied up in all these other processes that the body is experiencing. All of this EMF, and it's not just EMF, all of our anxiety and depression and stress and all these states of being that have become so normalized. When our body isn't resisting that, when it's not fighting that, then that energy becomes freed up. It's no longer in a state of fight or flight. And when it becomes available to us, because we're so calm in our body, we're so relaxed, we're breathing slower, deeper, more rhythmic. And we put that little inner smile on our face that is literally us choosing what kinds of frequencies and signals are going to affect our body chemistry. Because it really is that simple. Your body's totally relaxed. Your breathing is slowed down. And at the same time, your awareness is bright. So it's almost like the yin of the body being so relaxed, while at the same time, the yang, the illuminated sense of frequency that works in perfect union with the opposites of energy, the yin and the yang, the male and the female, the masculine, the feminine. All that are just polarities from different frequency expressions of this life force. And the more that gets balanced out, because we're choosing to be relaxed, choosing to have our awareness bright, and we're choosing to send the most powerful signal that we could ever choose, which is that inner smile and the realization that we can immediately feel grateful or happy or uplifted. And to know that all it really is a habit. And so if we have sickness or whatever kind of internal physical pain or ailments, or our emotional state is just all over the place, when we get into these simple and sustained states of heart and brain, whole body, whole soul, which is the life force, coherence. So again, our heart and our brain get into coherence because we are choosing to feel that feeling of the smile, and we feel it in our heart because the smile is on our face, but the feeling of it can be everywhere in our body. And the bulk of that feeling that we feel when we put that smile on is coming out of our heart. And the more we open up and feel that feeling of self-love, of acknowledging that even though life can be a struggle, even though it can be so challenging, and that sometimes we suffer so much, despite all of that, we can change our body frequency and keep meeting that pain with that calm state of being and that bright, illuminated awareness and the feeling of that inner smile, literally emanating from within and around our heart. And just like radio waves or any music waves, the same thing is happening in and around these bodies. And so when we get good at sustaining these really simple states of being that are likened to being childlike, but without having been traumatized, when we have awe and wonder, and we become curious about life, and we start to take that curiosity and we turn it inwards, and we begin to realize that the greatest and most awe-inspiring realities or discoveries there could ever be aren't outside of us. They're not somewhere on the other side of the world or the other side of the galaxy. Yeah, of course, it's there. Of course, the whole thing is filled with awe and wonder. But the root of that awe and wonder is us. It is animating every thought we think, every feeling that we feel. And just like those vibratory sound waves, when we interact with this process and we keep bringing our attention back into this awe and mystery of this life force, and our relationship to it and its relationship to every system of our body, the more we seek with curiosity, with the eyes and the open heart of a child, passionate about being alive. When we introduce these elements into what is already happening in us, around us, the more this power, the more this awe and mystery of reality that we all are and that everything is, the more we bring our attention to it, the more it meets us full on. The more we pay attention to what it is that we really are, this life force, the more it acknowledges that you are acknowledging it, and the more playful, the more loving, the more exciting all of this becomes. And the more you create time in your day, in the moments of your breathing, to simply just acknowledge that through the simple inner smile that you choose to put on your face, with that relaxed state of being in your body, with your breathing just slow and calm, all of this begins to naturally open up these dormant perceptual centers that are in every single one of us. If we have a heart in our chest, a brain in our head, and we have most of our body intact, we can become conscious of how this energy already interacts with all that we are in these bodies. And the more we become aware of how it's interacting with us, the more we are invited to be a co-participant of how this energy relates to all that we are. And when we realize that we have an effect on our own health, then these internal states of being, the glands, the pituitary center in the middle of the head, the pineal gland behind it, thalamus gland, these centers of our body are already filled up with neural networks. And when we get in tune and we feel the feeling of that uplifted state of being that we choose to create by choice alone, when we focus on these areas, and we feel our pulse in these areas of our body with the feeling of our smile, our uplifted body chemistry. We can feel this anywhere in our body that we choose to focus. And the more you feel your pulse in the back part of your brain, for example, with that feeling of the smile, you are taking your attention and you are putting it and focusing it into these divine bodies that, again, are only alive because of this miraculous life force that we are. And when we focus in these parts of our body, feeling that smile, being relaxed, and then feeling our heart beat with all these other elements of feeling uplifted, that feeling through our pulse, focused on these specific areas, begin to clear up blockages. It begins to literally activate whatever part of your body that you're focused on. And again, you are the co-creator. You are choosing to interact with what you really are. You don't care about who you think you are or what others think about you. None of that matters because you are creating the most important relationship that any of us could ever have, but that so few pursue just simply because they don't know. But we know, and we're choosing to know. And that choice to meet our life force where it is already at, and our willingness to interweave our conscious awareness of its presence already in us, allows that conscious awareness to become infused with this awe and mystery of this miracle that we are. And the more you dwell with that, the more you begin to learn what the true meaning of love is. It is this creative impulse that is the most powerful feeling we could ever imagine times infinity, and even that doesn't explain what this love, this creative force of wild bioelectricity is. And when you have made it clear to this part of yourself that you are committed to this relationship. You're not only choosing to marry it, you are voluntarily choosing to take the limited sense of self that almost everybody has accepted as normal. And you are intentionally infusing that awareness into every part of your body, from the top of your head to the tip of your feet. And when you know yourself in this way, you begin to become aware of all these dimensions that everybody speculates and talks about, all of these new areas to understand knowledge and wisdom that was always there, but that so few focus on. Yes, we increase our awareness of how mysterious this miracle of life is, but it's normal. It's just a natural part of life itself. It's not some elite club for only certain people who've lived in caves and prayed and meditated in monasteries. This is here and available to everybody that wants to create a relationship with it. And this, again, is a relationship that will love you back 1,000-fold. And that's just when you're really getting to know yourself as you are. And how could you not love yourself when you're sustaining these states of being? How could you not feel empathy, not only for all the suffering in the world, but even for those who are creating suffering because they are stuck? They are in old karmic cycles that they don't even understand. And if we're not choosing to amplify our awareness of what we really are, this miracle, then by default, we are still focusing on it. And it is still being amplified, whether we're choosing to nurture this relationship like we would any other relationship that we're passionate about. If we're not nurturing that, then by default, we are still amplifying whatever it is we're focused on. And this is why so many people feel so stuck in all of their own problems and the problems of the world. There's enough of us here now that know, at least enough to know why we're here and how we are finding each other, and how all of these old patriarchal top-down systems, that's the old, that's on its way out. And even if we don't see that in the world around us, be certain that you can see it by being it within you. So continue to stay totally relaxed. Every part of your body is so calm that your body could almost go to sleep. But through that little inner smile and your choice to keep your awareness bright while your body's almost going to sleep, this is how we access what it is that's going to change this world. And when enough of us do this individually, then naturally we're doing it together all over the world. And at some point, those morphogenetic fields or the 100th monkey effect is going to happen. And there are so many who feel like it actually already has happened. They believe that enough of us have already glimpsed our true nature beyond and within the appearance of separation that we all have unconsciously indulged in. And if enough of us have already seen that and know ourselves as such, then that's a pretty good understanding of why things seem so chaotic. We have created a ripple in the fabric of what appears to be time. And in that ripple, enough of us have been able to sustain our awareness of it. And now the world around us is beginning to catch up to what enough of us have seen. But there's no reason to not keep focusing on it. This is a reprioritization of what we value. This is choosing to take the value from what we normally place our attention on external to us and choose to love that we already are. And when we value our relationship to our life more than all of the stress that society coaxes with a carrot dangling over our nose to literally sell our souls by focusing on what the world tells us is necessary to survive. You don't have to do that anymore. It's not even necessary to stress out and try to survive in a system that is totally disharmonic to the web of life itself. So before we come out of this, if you had any insight, or better yet, if you had any feeling that was either new to you tonight or that you became aware of, any epiphany or aha moment, no matter how great or small, found you in this time we spent together. Memorize it. Let it know that you became aware of it. And again, that like any relationship you are passionate about, you're in it to keep knowing it, to knowing what you are beyond the perceived illusion of disconnection. The appearance of separation is just that. It is an appearance. We all are this life force, and the more we focus on it individually and together, the more we amplify it in us. And again, like tuning forks placed all over the world, that vibrational frequency of reality in a highly organized state of being allows us as individuals to resonate at vibrational frequencies so much more ordered and powerful than all of these stressful things that so many are addicted to focusing on, even though it doesn't serve them. So feel that part of yourself that you know is there. Choose to become closer to what you know is possible. Even if you can't see it or hear it or feel it, you know it's there. Just like a string on a guitar. Everything makes vibratory waves with the right kind of interaction with it. And even though we don't see it, just like magnetic fields, doesn't matter, because we are reconditioning ourselves to become aware of what was always there, but that we just didn't slow down enough with enough curiosity and passion to be able to perceive it. But now we are. And I just want to send love to my family and to everybody here. Feel love for those that are in your heart and send them love. Even if they're toxic or abusive, you don't have to love them in the way that they want you to. You're choosing to take the high road, and you are loving them at exactly whatever level they are at. And that is enough. So when you're ready, take your hands together, create friction and heat. Get them nice and hot. And then put the palms of your hands over your eyes and just relax into that. And please like, love, share, help us get this out there. We are mission driven. I'm sure everybody knows that. And thank you. Thank you, Greg. Thank you, everybody here.
Thank you, everyone. We will see everyone this next Tuesday. Keep in mind that updated link, I will be sending in the email. So thank you, everyone. Condolences to your Uncle Seth.
You.
All right. And everyone, take care. Bye-bye.
Good night.